Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome on in to Sports Talk with Broads. The Phillies go into Chicago and take 2 of 3 from the White Sox. And the way I will describe this is, it didn't inspire me, but it was necessary. I wasn't enamored with everything that I saw, but you had to win that series. The road trip in totality was 4-3 in 7 games against the Reds and Chicago. It's not great in the grand scheme of things, especially when you see the Atlanta Braves, surprise, surprise, take off with a hot start. It's outrageous what they do year in and year out. They just have sustained success, and I'm very jealous. But I note that because you're playing from behind and playing catch-up, and there's something that happened in this series that scares me for the long run, and it's Zach Wheeler. We really haven't seen a sharp Aaron Nola either. This team doesn't have a damn shot unless those two are who they are when they're at their best. And Zach Wheeler went in game 1 of this series, in the first game of the doubleheader. He was gifted a nice, comfortable lead. And I remember saying, at least it's not Aaron Nola on the mound, because we saw in the first game of the season that a 5-0 lead for Aaron Nola turns into a disaster. And that was almost the case with Zach Wheeler. His velocity was dipping. Corey Seidman tweeted this out. And Zach Wheeler felt back tightness during his long third inning when the White Sox had 6 consecutive hits. He received treatment after that inning, but then said he felt normal the rest of the way. His velocity was not touching that 97, 98 range that we need from Zach Wheeler, and at times it was 94, at times it was 93, but 6 of his final 11 pitches were whiffs. So it's very bizarre. I don't know exactly what is going on, right? There's a lot there. You're getting treatment after an inning that you threw a ton of pitches, but then you did get some whiffs in 6 of your last 11 pitches. All I know is it can't be good. It can't be solid, knowing that something happened after an inning where he went to the staff and said, I need some help here. And it's concerning to me to see where his velocity is. I'm just noting it. That's all. They still won the baseball game. They had a nice early lead. In the first inning, they're up 3-0. Then Harrison gives you a 5-0 lead. The ugly inning from Wheeler, it stayed at 5-4. So you had a 1-run lead. Your bullpen was solid. And of course, because this is how we all thought it would happen, this is how we drew it up, Harrison would help, had more insurance. He had 4 RBI. In the 7th inning, he's hitting a home run to knock in Cave, too, just like I thought this season would go. Jake Cave and Josh Harrison, when the team needed a clutch hit to help some separation happen and to get a bit of breathing room, it would be those two that would shine. But let's not forget about Kimbrel, Dominguez, Alvarado, Soto, all with 2 Ks to get a nice start in this series. It's just terrible that they follow that up the same night with a 1-hit effort. Brandon Marsh breaks it up. Hallelujah. Now, Brandon Marsh has been nuts. He's been so good with the bat in his hands. Even against lefties at this point, I'm feeling confident. An opposite field home run in the 3rd game. Oppo Taco, a little left center field. Man, he's got confidence right now, and this is crazy. Remember, there was a time where he was looked at as one of the best prospects in baseball. That's right. In all of the sport. There was a lot of hype around who he can be. In all of baseball. I think you're starting to see it. I don't have to tell you about what he does defensively. That's a known, outside of the one I want to pull my hair out moment that happened to kind of start this season. But I'm starting to love every time he's at the dish. I'm like excited to see how he continues to build every single night. And at least Trey Turner got a home run. So that started things off in the 5-2 win. Taijuan Walker settled in, went 6 1/3. Your bullpen, I think you're starting to see the arms form. Soto definitely feels like someone that's more reliable at this point. Craig Kimbrell, the last couple of outings, hallelujah. A veteran, you think at some point he'd figure it out a tad. It's crazy because I've seen more Josh Harrison on the mound than I've seen your bullpen in a position to really close things out. And when they did have the position to go to Sir Anthony and Jose so far this year, Sir Anthony's blowing it on a Sunday afternoon on my Easter. It's just crazy to process. So ultimately, it's a good series win, but it still shows the inconsistency with this team. One day you're scoring 7 runs, the next day you can't get a hit. Well, you finally get one. Giolito, I don't want to hear either after the game. He had too much of a nasty changeup. He had filthy stuff. How come it's always that? Oh, that guy was just throwing it today. That guy was picking his spots. That guy was doing this. That guy, he was locked and loaded. Okay, I don't care. Do something about it. Hit him. It's happening too frequently. Go win some damn baseball games. Wake up. Get the bats going. Is that too much to ask? Giolito, stop it. I'll tell you what, though. It's a lot easier to watch a potential no-hitter in a regular season game in April after you watch one in the damn World Series. Jesus, am I right? It's like, oh, this is nothing. I got kicked in the testicles 7 times harder not too long ago, earlier this fall. This is nothing. This is just a little tap. I got a full-on fucking UFC kick to the nuts. So I can handle this. This is not. This will be over in a couple of hours. Back at it tomorrow. What a world we live in, where Falter goes the deepest for you with your starting rotation right now. 7 innings pitched, he went. And really the only problem he had was the 1 home run. He couldn't get any run support. Nobody can attack. No one could get on base. Falter was dialed in after that home run. You see the issue here, though? It's either it's a night where they're putting up 20 hits, they're scoring 7 runs, they're knocking in 9, or they're non-existent. Or JT looks rough, along with Schwarber, along with a few others in the middle of your order. It's night or it's day. And until they string it together, I'm in a very uncomfortable spot. So happy they did this. It was very important to win this series after splitting in Cincinnati. Not every series would be gorgeous. The difference, though, is the most recent series have been underwhelming. Let me lay it out this way. If they did this exact thing, but they won 2 series before this, well, then I have a totally different demeanor. I'm excited. They found the way. That's how I would look at it. That would be how I analyzed it. They won a series. They won 3 of 4 against Cincinnati. They handled business prior to that. It wasn't the prettiest by any means. Their offense fell completely asleep in game 2. But they won another series. Let's go win another at home against Colorado. Let's keep the flow and the structure of winning baseball. But when you disappoint leading into this, I acknowledge they had to put a first step forward. This was a first step forward. But is it followed by a backward step? Or is there another step? Is this left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot? Moving towards the goal that needs to be accomplished? Or are we falling down steps and tumbling over ourselves. And I know you're not supposed to look at the standings this early in the season because there's just way too much that goes on from now until late August. But yes, the Braves' pedigree speaks for itself. Now, the Braves lost today. They lost 1-0, but they're 14-5. All right? They're 14-5. So they're doing something right. Are they off tomorrow? Looks like they are. While the Phillies go home and face a 5-14 Colorado Rockies in 4 games. 4-3 in this 7 games that we just witnessed. Not what I preferred. It should have been 5-2 at the minimum. It's 4-3. You have to win 3 of the next 4. Minimum. Schwarber, still quiet. Willing to give him more time. It's actually, believe it or not, what he's doing so far is better than some of his previous starts to the season. He's on pace to hit over 30-plus bombs right now. And we're talking about how he hasn't really showed up to the party yet. Think about sleepwalking through your first month and being on pace for what other players would call a fantastic, beautiful season. Right? If Rhys Hoskins hits 36 home runs in a year where he's healthy, that's amazing. That's tremendous. We're watching Kyle Schwarber, and granted, I understand he's hitting like 200, so it is very tough. But guys would cry to have 30-plus bombs in a season. We're disappointed that that's what the trajectory and the projections are at this point, even though it's not even June yet. This is actually not too shabby from the Kyle Schwarber standards of an April, of a jump start, which is kind of insane. Castellanos working in his RBI single to help out. Just a weird series, too, because you were supposed to play in Chicago one day. They canceled the game very early. They give you a doubleheader. I don't like the weekday doubleheader. The fact that the pitch clock is here, though, makes the game speed up so it doesn't feel as drawn out. But I got stuff to do. I got work. I'm busy. We're going up against the game. It's not as fun. Now, we do get to watch the game while we're on the radio, and we react with you all, and it's fun to kind of have that. We do a little bit of a Manning cast kind of feel. We call it the Johnson Broad Scored Cast because it's Tyrone Johnson, myself, and Jen Scordo. So it's we also thrown in there the TB and J. We like that. A caller brought that up. We're like, oh, we like that. So we do get to tune in and watch Rob Thompson's decisions and analyze it and criticize it and give him praise in real time. For example, going to Soto and removing Taijuan Walker ended up working out. Craig Kimbrell, Jose Alvarado, they shut the door. Nice, easy breeze. Big dub, 5-2. Electric. Stoddy. Trey Turner almost had a cycle, even though it bothers a lot of baseball heads when you say that when the only thing missing is a triple because we know how difficult it is to get a triple. But not for Trey Turner, not for guys like Brandon Marsh. If Kyle Schwarber had a single home run and a double, I'd say fine, fair. That's totally legitimate to wonder if he can get your triple. Trey Turner can turn on the Jets. Trey Turner can get rocking and rolling. So I hate the weekday doubleheader. I don't mind the weekend doubleheader. That I can live with. 4 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 7 o'clock, whatever it is. I like to hibernate on my weekends. I bust my ass Monday through Friday. I grind. I talk nonstop 24/7. I get fatigued. I get crushed. I need a little bit of a breather to sit back, relax on the couch, hang out with the pups, drink some coffee, and during the winter times, throw on my sweatpants and my hoodie, get under the covers, and bang, or blanket, I should say, whatever it is, and relax and watch sports all day, or in the spring, maybe it's a thunderstorm in the middle of the afternoon like we had this weekend here in South Jersey. It was nuts. The streets were flooded. I ordered a pizza. I went to go pick it up. I'm soaked because I'm running to the pizza place to grab it. Not good for my high cholesterol. Did it anyway. It was insane. But I like that. I can watch baseball for 8 hours on those days. Weekday, I got to clock in and clock out. You know what I'm saying? I got to take care of business and pay the bills. So before we go to the phones, I'll say it one more time. It was a necessary series win, but it didn't inspire me. It's not great that Bailey Falter's going the farthest in your starting rotation. Not a recipe to succeed. This Zach Wheeler thing, the velocity was bad. That is bad, and it's concerning. The positive here is it looks like Bryce Harper is a robot. The clips of him running the bases or practicing sliding is a better way to put it. Taking ground balls over at first base. Taking live BP off Ranger Suarez. Scott Lauber of the Inquirer put up a piece about how he's going to be doing virtual reality instead of possibly doing a minor league stint so he can get in the batter's box and face some real pitching, and they somehow duplicate real pitchers and what they do and their mechanics, and you can step in the box with virtual reality, start taking your hacks. The fact that he's made this much progress doesn't even make sense to me. I can't even put it into this head of mine. We need him. I do think, though, that even with the returning Bryce Harper at some point, who I'm sure is hungry to help the team out after the slow start, if Nola and Wheeler stink, or if Nola and Wheeler can't complete a game and make you feel good, I'm not saying complete a game as in go 9 innings. I'm saying do a really good job when you have 5-0 leads. We got problems. Is that unfair to say? At that point, we got problems. Okay. End time hotline. 2-3 against the White Sox. How do the people feel? It's a great question, bro. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Let's find out.
I'm glad we won 2 out of 3 in Chicago. However, I can't forget what happened yesterday. I mean, even in the game we won, Zach Wheeler can't throw above 95. Just completely fell apart there in the second inning. And the second game, I mean, the bats just didn't come. I mean, this is what happens when you have Cody Clemens, Garrett Stubbs, and Christian Pache at your 7, 8, and 9. There's only 6 actual hitters in your lineup. But, I mean, one hit is that's ridiculous. The White Sox bullpen sucks, and we only got 1 hit off them in the second game yesterday. I'm glad we won today. This series shows why Jose Alvarado should be our everyday closer. But I don't know. I'm still not overconfident about this team. I mean, yesterday wasn't pretty at all. Even though the game we won was not great.
Okay, so a similar feeling that I have. I didn't want to be too harsh today, and even if I felt that way, I would let you know. I don't really feel super negative. It just didn't give me a ton of excitement either. Not mad, not angry, just not overly excited either. It was good, though. It was good, and I think that's very similar to what the caller just brought up. I guess maybe I thought there would be more excitement than that from the fans. And that was just one call, and there's more to go to, and there's a ton of others. I got a very, very small sample size, but I guess I thought maybe I was more the outlier than the norm, and maybe as we went to one call, once again, that's not majority of people here. I don't know. Maybe that's how most feel, which I think makes sense. It does make sense. But when you win on a day to take a series on the road, and we're recording the day of, traditionally speaking, you think you'd hear some positivity of we're moving in the right direction and this looked good and maybe we can take this and run with it and more selling points, because we do acknowledge that we don't believe the team is who they've showed us to this point. So we're trying to grab every little detail of positivity that we see and hope that that stretches out over the long run, because we know that there's a lot of talent here. And individually speaking, a lot of guys are doing a lot of things well. It's just not coming together. Marsh is playing outstanding. Stott is doing really good things at the top of the lineup, and I'm starting to get moved into really enjoying this Stott-Turner combo at the top, which I didn't think I would like as much as I do right now at this particular time. I thought I'd like Stott more at the back end, which I wouldn't be angry if Rob Thompson did that. I think you just have two really good options that you can do. This isn't a bad option, even if at one point I thought I liked Stott more towards the back end. But when Bryce Harper returns and Kyle Schwarber heats up, right now I think I also feel this way because Kyle Schwarber isn't doing his thing. Once we get that Kyle Schwarber hot month, I don't want him to be batting anything less than 1, 2, or 3. Right now I'm more willing to kind of flirt around with some ideas. And of course, when Bryce Harper returns, what's his comfortability in the lineup? Is he going to bat cleanup? Is he going to bat third? What do they do there? Is Nick Castellanos hitting home runs at any point? Just got to sprinkle that in too. But anyway, let's see how the next call feels.
Well, we snagged 2 of 3 against the White Sox, so that puts us almost at 500, not quite. Had a shaky moment. Jose Alvarado looks good. Bryson Stott looks good. This team will get it together once Bryce Harper gets back. I don't lose faith. Don't lose hope. We should be good going into All-Star break. It's still early. I'm weird saying that, but we should be okay.
Okay. All right. So that's more of what I thought I'd hear. With that said, I'm just being honest with you. Listening there, did that feel like he meant it? I'm just being honest. When I heard that, I didn't feel it. Said what I think he wanted to believe. I don't know if that instilled a lot of confidence in me that he actually believed it. It felt as if he was talking himself in to believing it. It's a very awkward spot to be in right now. It really is. There's a lot of division in my emotional pie. The pie chart. Great example. We can all visualize it. I'm cut up into 90 different ways. There's a lot of talent here. I watched what they did last year. I know that Bryce Harper's returning. I don't think Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler could stink forever. But the Atlanta Braves are doing their thing. Asking them to repeat what they did last season is a very tall order. They're banged up with their pitching. Ranger Suarez, Andrew Painter. I bring that up, and the ironic part is, even though Matt Strom's coming off of his worst start, he's been better than your top 2 guys-ish. Falter has went your longest. These bullpen pieces have been beaten up because your starters can't go deep, so when they're going 4 1/3, they're going 5 innings. Bilotti for the 500th time. Connor Brogdon again. These guys are getting overused and abused, which leads to frustrating outings. I'm a mess right now. I'm a mess. I don't even know what to think about this team. I am crumbling by the minute. God bless you if you're still listening.
Okay, so the Phillies end up winning this series against the White Sox. They end up going 4-3 on the road as a whole. Obviously, I would have liked more wins, but hey, at this point, I'll take it. Now they come home and have a 4-game series right away with the Rockies. The Rockies are terrible. I'm demanding at least 3 or 4. It would be nice to sweep, but hey, I mean, Brandon Marsh, he seems to be better than anyone thought he could possibly be. Trey Turner's starting to hit the ball a little harder, which is a good sign. Let's just see how it goes from here. I'm hoping we get at least 3 from Colorado coming up.
If we don't at least take 3 or 4 against Colorado, I'm gonna rip my head off my body. Ligaments will be thrown on live stream. Wait, punch my teeth out. I'm going to lose my mind. I think I'm already losing my mind. I don't know what I've even said over the last 25 minutes. Because now I'm processing what actually would happen if they split or, God forbid, lost the series to Colorado. That can't happen. That won't happen. That won't happen. We're not going to end on that note. That's way too negative. They will take minimum 3 of 4. Let's take a gander here at our pitchers. Since Taiwan just went on Thursday, we have Matt Strahm going up against a dude with an 8.78 ERA. Friday, we got ourselves one Aaron Nola, who's sniffing a, wait for it, 6 ERA. Not good for Aaron Nola. Saturday, Christopher Sanchez is slotted in here on the ESPN app. Everything is possible change, of course. And then on Sunday, we have ourselves a nice Peacock game at noon with one Zach Wheeler. For my sanity, let's pray that this goes well. Thank you guys so much. Talk to you guys soon.